Welcome to Warhammer Warscroll Review. This is a special one in that it'll be the first video featuring the 2nd edition rules. In this video, we will take a look at the Seraphon unit, the Skink Starpriest.
Warscroll Review.
Skink Starpriest may be some of the least intimidating models in Age of Sigmar. Contrary to how they look though, they are powerful support pieces. This Warscroll review will encompass all the 2nd edition information that has been released by Games Workshop thus far. I've also done quite a bit of extra research, so I'm confident this review won't be overlooking anything major. For Skink, their movement characteristic is normal, but still extremely helpful at 8 inches. All its other stats suck, and it will die to a light breeze with 4 wounds and a 5-up save, and I won't even bother you with the wizard's weapon. The use of this model comes in the way of 2 abilities. The first is called Serpent Staff. This is a kind of poorly written rule that can be extremely potent with the right combination. The rule says the Skink Starpriest chooses a Seraphon unit within 8 inches, and until your next hero phase, 6 is to wound, double the model's damage with any bite or jaw attacks. Bite or jaw. I guess that is more self-explanatory than I'm letting on, but I don't feel like the intention was for this to work with as many Seraphon models as it does. This ability actually affects quite a few Seraphon units. Carnosaurs, all flavors of Saurus, Salamanders, Croxagore, and my favorite, Dreadsaurians. Dreadsaurian jaws do d6 damage to begin with. Doubling the result on 6s to wound will be insanely destructive. The other aspect of the Starpriest that makes it worthwhile is the fact that it's a wizard. Casting or unbinding 1 spell a hero phase, plus the model knows its own unique spell, Summon Starlight. This spell casts on a 6 and can target a unit within 20 inches. The model doesn't even have to be visible. If it targets a Seraphon unit, any attacks against that unit must subtract 1 from their hit rolls until the next hero phase. If it targets an enemy unit, they must subtract 1 from their hit rolls until your next hero phase. In addition, if the unit is a Chaos Demon, it is dealt d3 mortal wounds. This ability is really awesome. It's easy to cast, it can be used from far away and out of line of sight, but most of all because it can be used as a buff and a debuff. If the Death Mage's lore and Iden of the Deepkin armies have taught us anything, it's that debuffing an enemy can sometimes be better than buffing your own units. Paired with the new Lookout Sir, the Skink Starpriest could be -2 to hit to really protect your character when shot at by a key enemy unit. Subtracting 1 to hit on a unit like Longstrike Crossbow Raptors is extremely effective, but it can also target one of your Seraphon units if the opponent has multiple threats. In addition to this, of course the Skink knows Mystic Shield and Arcane Bolt. With the changes to Mystic Shield, Summon Starlight is almost always going to be the better choice. In a Seraphon army, rerolling save rolls is actually pretty easy to come by, so rerolling 1s is a somewhat mild benefit for the faction. Skink Starpriests are less than 100 points, making them some of the cheapest wizards Order has to offer. Sit the Skink out of line of sight, but within 20 inches of your units. If you have a good target for the Serpent Staff, you'll have to keep the Starpriest a little closer. The Serpent Staff is nice, but don't risk the Starpriest to give some Salamanders or something like that the staff's ability. The character is a solid movement, and there's no reason it can't run, so it's probably going at least 10 inches when it needs to move. The way command abilities are going to work in the Age of Sigmar means the Starpriest has some use as a general, being able to use the upgraded form of abilities like At the Double and Inspiring Presence. Even if the Skink is not the general, its fast movement means it will be able to keep up with other units to ensure they are benefiting from command abilities. In a Seraphon force, the character will have plenty of uses, even though it's worth mentioning Summon Starlight fits well into an Order army as well. With the Seraphon Allegiance abilities, the Skink would benefit a fair amount. Lords of Space and Time can be used to remove and then redeploy the Starpriest over 9 inches from an enemy in the hero phase. This is great to reposition the Skink in case they are out of range for their Summon Starlight or Serpent Staff abilities. It's also great to teleport a unit that has been bestowed with Summon Starlight. Putting this, a Skink Priest Celestial Rites, and a few other buffs on a Bastiladon or Dreadsaurian could create an annoying anvil to throw in your opponent's face with Lords of Space and Time. Speaking of, all the Skink characters work well together, and a Skink Starpriest paired with their cohort can prove very effective. Used with a Skink Priest Celestial Rites ability, Summon Starlight would make a large unit of Saurus Guard or a Bastiladon almost invincible. Adding on another layer of defense through the Skink Starseer would also prove beneficial. The Skink's unique spell, Curse of Fates, allows a player to increase or decrease the roll of 1 unit each phase. Altogether, a unit will be -1 to hit with rerollable saves, In addition, it can increase one of the failed rerolls to a passing save. On a Bastiladon, this combination creates a true tank. Just watch out for mortal wounds. The Saurus Astaroth Bearer will also have the ability to increase the range of the Skink's spell, allowing the Skink to cast the spell at a greater distance. The Skink Starpriest fits into a few Seraphon battalions. The Shadow Strike Star Host is the main one. A bit expensive, but still sometimes worth it. This Warscroll battalion includes the Starpriest, 2 units of Skinks, chameleon or otherwise, and 1 Pterodon or Ripperdactyl unit. This allows the flying unit to set up in reserves and deploy within an inch of the enemy with augmented abilities the turn they come down. The models that set up on foot move 2d6 before the game starts. The Starpriest can make use of this move to get in range to cast Summon Starlight on an enemy unit even though it may have deployed out of range. The other ability this battalion bestows allows the player to pick a target that is visible to the Starpriest, and models in the battalion can reroll once to hit and wound against that target until your next hero phase. This too is nice to add a bit of a punch to your Ripperdactyls or even chameleon skinks. The Starpriest fits nicely into a Heaven's Watch Star Host as well, but doesn't really benefit from it directly, so I'll just leave the mention at that. Even in a Seraphon force, the player would have access to a Lord Relictor, as an ally to deduct another -1 to hit from an enemy unit. In an Order Grand Alliance, there are a few other methods of reducing enemy to hit. The Dark Elf Sorceress spell reduces an enemy unit by -1 to hit. And in addition to these, the Idol of Deepkin have some -1 to hit abilities outside of just their Allegiance-specific abilities. Also, don't forget endless spells like Prismatic Palisade and the Geminids of Olgish. As you can probably surmise, the Skink Starpriest fits well into any Seraphon or even Order Grand Alliance force. The model does not have to have any other Seraphon models in the army, as its spell can be used as a debuff on the enemy, making for a cheap wizard. The Skink Starpriest receives a 4 out of 5. It is a potent support piece and well-rounded enough to fit into multiple types of armies. What do you think of the Skink Starpriest? What are you most excited about with the new edition? Let me know your answers, thoughts, and questions in the comments below, and thanks for watching.